Okay. First we're going to do is create masks, and what we're going to do is create a new vertex group. I'm going to call it left head. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in edit mode. And what we're going to do is create a mask to do left of the head. So Control Z does transparency, and I want it to be dead center. Okay. And I just clicked and drag, and I'm going to assign that. Control Z that again. I'm going to do Control Shift M, mirrors it over. We have some stuff that's not mirrored. Note this, that you can't, this is going to cause problems later, but this looks pretty good except for the eyes. It's going to cause problems later, but that's okay. We can work with this. Just need to do Shift and grab all the extra ones. And we're going to have right head. And what we're going to use these masks, I'll just call it masks so we can keep it separate. These are going to be used later to separate left and right side of when we're creating the shape keys for face tracking. Okay, so double check that works. And that works. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to do a select. We're going to do Control minus minus. We're going to create a new group called left head smooth mask. And what we're going to do is we're going to assign it a weight of 1. And do Control plus deselect, so it just selects all the ones, one extra. We're going to change this weight to 0.75. Now we're going to assign 0.75 on those vertexes. We're going to select it, go plus again, deselect, so it should be in the center. So what we're going to do, set that at 50. And this will help create a perfect cut in the middle of the face when we're trying to separate left and right and not any harsh transitions. So what we're going to do is then assign that. Control plus again and deselect. And 0.25. Assign. So what this is going to look, if you actually go into weight paint mode, you have this gradient here, and you want it to be green on the center. But we're doing it manually, so we actually get it perfectly exact on the mirror. So that's done. Now we're going to do right head smooth mask, and we're going to do Alt A to deselect everything. I'm going to select the right and set that to value of 1. Control minus minus. Go to right, assign. Make sure you click this before you assign. And then we're going to go +1, deselect, 75, assign, +1, deselect, 5, assign, +1, deselect. And what we're doing is we're adding the next vertex out, and we're going to assign that to the mask. So, Control A, we go into weight paint mode. It's nice and smooth. So when we do any face transition stuff, we can actually separate out left and right. So and this is without the gradient, this is with the gradient. Now the next step is to create a upper lip mask. And what this is going to do is we're going to basically select anything from this point up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select things that I want to move on the upper lip with face tracking. So if we noted earlier, it does have it mirrored, so we can mirror this over if we do select things. So it can save us some time. It's very nice when you actually have something that's actually mirrored. Now I can't get in here, so what I'm gonna do is I'm in edit mode. I'm going to turn on the mixing, and I'm gonna do that should open the mouth so I can get into the mouth to select things. Okay, I'm gonna go in here, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to select what we want to move the lips when we're in sculpt mode. Sculpt mode is what we're going to be using to create the actual face shapes. And now preferred is to actually have a bone rigging for all these mesh in the like different lips, but usually that's not. Usually a lot of avatars don't have it. In this case we don't. So I am having fun trying to get up here. So I want to get about okay, so it looks like the lips go up pretty high. So we're gonna try to get in there. Now these lips are very tight with these gums, so this is gonna be a little challenging. So I'm gonna try to work with around this. Get Control Z that a little bit. And thankfully this is mirrored, so if we do this, I can mirror this over. Now this is a little difficult to actually see what you're doing, but and what we'll do, okay, I think I select one of these that I didn't want to select. It was this one. Don't want that one. And that is, I believe that's the gum. Okay. So I have that side selected, so if I do Control Shift M, and I go down to this bottom here, and I want to hit extend. So I want to extend the mirror selection. And that looks like that should be what we want. That looks pretty good right there. Okay. I'm going to select a little bit more on the upper nose. Just follow this nose. I think I actually want to move the nose a little bit with face tracking, so I'm going to move this, have that selected a little bit, so I have for masking. So I'm going to go over here. Okay. Go over here. Now, usually with face tracking, you want to go move a lot of things, so we want to go a little bit farther out here, probably around the lower of the eyes. So we're going to move it over here. Just select. Okay. Oops. I selected that one down there. I don't want that one. just like that. And yeah, we're gonna go over here. I think right here, like the corner of the eye, bottom corner of the eye, I think that's gonna be a good spot to have it cut off at. Okay. Now, I think I'm gonna do that. Control Shift M to add it to the other side. Now it's all mirrored. Now, if you don't have a mirrored mesh, you're sort of out of luck. You're just going to have to visually look at it to see if you're mirrored. So that looks good. I like that. So I'm going to assign that. I'm going to do Alt-A. I'm going to try to get rid of this gum. I don't really want these gums here, so I'm going to try to get these away. I'm going to just hide these bones for a little bit so I can actually work a little bit. So I'm going to do that. L. And we're going to call this teeth and gums. And it's just nice to have a group so I can mask things out. So I'm going to call it teeth and, okay, and we're going to just hit H. We're going to hide it so we can actually work a little bit better. We have the tongue, and we're going to just suck the tongue. And I'm going to hide that. So, actually, I should have done that first. See, after I got those out, I can actually see the back of the top of the upper lip better. And I think that'll work. I think that's pretty good. If it doesn't move as far as you would like, you can add I think I can add another one here. You know what? Let's add another one. So we're going to add another. This is a little tedious at first, but it'll be very useful later. So assign. Okay. Now we want to do the lower lip. Lower lip mask. And it doesn't matter how this is named. We're just naming it so we can use it later for the process. I'll just do Control Shift Plus. And that good chunk of it. And we want this crease right here. So we want this corner. I want that corner. And we're going to go about there. And we want to sort of keep that jawline, so we don't really want to move that jawline too much. And you're not always stuck in with these. You can always add it later if something doesn't work. And what we're doing is so we can mask this. Okay. And I could have mirrored that, but so let's just add that there. Now these hairs are in the way. Probably could hide those, but I'm just gonna select this one down here. Let's see. And there. Okay. So we got the lower jawline. So we're going to mirror that over. So we got the bottom lower jawline. So we're going to assign that. Okay. Now let's go into weight paint mode and we should be able to see upper lip, lower lip, tongue, gums. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just scoot this down so we can actually keep it organized. So I want to make this smooth. So I'm going to do the exact same thing we did with the head. So I'm going to call this upper smooth. And what we're going to do is we're going to do Alt A. We're going to select the upper lip. Select it. Minus. So we're creating the transition zone. So we're going to do assign. And we're going to go plus, deselect, 75, assign, plus, deselect, and assign, plus, deselect, and 25. Now you can, this is probably how much transitions you want. Could mess with it later if some things don't work. So that, go to weight paint mode, and we have a nice transition that we manually put in. Alt A. Now we're going to do the lower lip smooth mask. Now let's select the lower lip. Minus. 1. Assign. Plus. Deselect. Oops. Yep, I didn't assign it to the right layer. So I'm going to go back to edit mode. Go to full. Minus. Assign. Should be that. Okay. And then 175 plus deselect, assign, plus deselect, assign, and plus deselect, and assign. So we should have a nice smooth transition. Okay. Now, I think one more that I need to do, and this would be for the eyes. So I want to make a mask for the eyes. So we're going to do eyes mask. Change up the 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to select around the eye. So we want this and this. I'm going to assign that to the mask, and then I'm going to hide it so we can get two things. We're going to have a lot of layers here that we're going to have to select. So we're going to want here. There. And I probably could do a ring select on these. Let's see, Control Shift. Actually, that may actually work a little bit better. Let's do that. I'm going to just Control Shift this. What we're going to do is actually something. Because this is not connected to the actual back of the eye, it's separated. We can do a expand on the vertexes. So we do Control plus. Okay, so we have the eyes. And let's go one more. Okay. That looks good. I'll do a Control Shift M. And I'm going to let's just add that there. And Control Shift M. Okay, so we have eye mask. Okay. If I go into weight paint mode, we have that masked. Okay, so we can do shaping of the eyes. Now it looks like I would like to have a little bit more up here, because if I'm moving the eyes up and down, this is probably going to move the forehead. So we're going to add more to this. Go up here and get this one under here. Probably could have hidden this. Okay, we're going to do Control. Oh, how high do I want to go? Oops. Okay, Control Shift M and assign. Okay. That looks like it would work. Now, I want to have the eyebrows separate. So when you're masking, you can actually just do the eyebrows, not add the whole head and face and stuff. For cartoony type of aspects of it. So we want a brow mask. And this one will be pretty straightforward. We just go and edit. Control Alt A to just select everything. LL and assign. It'd help if I actually spell it right. Okay. And that. Okay, so we have all the masks that we need. Got that. Okay. Sweet. Okay. This is done. Now I'm going to turn the bones back on. There's a different scenes, and you can add a general scene called sculpting. Where is it? Sculpting. I already have one out. And what do you do in sculpting mode is that we want to make our face tracking shapes. Now, the face tracking shapes are based from the wiki blend shapes. Now, these are case sensitive. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to work on creating the eye tracking shapes. What we want to do is these are not in order on how you'd actually create them. So the easiest ones are going to be the eye left and the blinking. So we have eye left blink, and there is an eye right blink. Those should already exist on the avatar, so we should have. What we're going to do is we're going to recreate them. It would help if I would have everything shown again, because I hid those. Alt A. So we want to make that our blink left. So eye left blink. So we're going to do a value of 1. We're going to do create new shape from mix. And we're going to call this eye left blink. Now this is not necessary, but it's a thing I do. I call this SRanipal shape keys. Now this shape key is not going to do anything, but it's just a way to organize the shape keys. So I'm going to call this is eye tracking. And so I'm going to scoot that up. And when we hit the X, oops, if you noticed, I accidentally had the mouth open because I was working on it earlier. That is my bad. And it looks like some of the gum is blue. I didn't realize this avatar had blue gums. But okay. Besides the point. I have this mouth that's not supposed to be there. So we're going to X out. We're going to minus that. This deletes it. So we want blink left with no mouth open. So we're going to do that. Eye left blink. Clear. And blink right. Eye. Right. Blink. Now, the reason why we're recreating these is we can use templates that follow these shape key standards. Now you can use a template animation set with these shape keys, so it's nice to use these exactly as named. So what we're going to do is, just like how you do MMD models for the work in MMD worlds, you have to have an exact shape key name in order to make it work. And just like that, you need to have it for face tracking if you want to use templates. Not required, but it makes life easier. So, next shape I want to do is I need to see if there's a wide. Is there a surprised? There's a surprised, yes. But it has a mouth movement. We don't want to mix mouth movement with the eyes, so we can use a mask. So we can use eyes mask. So it should just do the forehead. And I'm hoping that it doesn't move too much, but it looks like that works. So what we did was we put a vertex group into this. So I can actually, what's going on here? We have something moving here that we don't want to move. Interesting. It looks like my mask may have a... Let's look at this. Looks like my mask may actually have something that's assigned to that. We don't want that assigned there. So let's look at our mask. Let's Control A. Let's look at the eye mask. So it looks like I maybe accidentally... if you see that right there, I have a vertex here that I don't want to be there. So, what I'm going to do is going to deselect everything. I'm going to select what I don't want. I don't want that. I'm going to do Control-Shift-M. Hopefully that's mirrored. That is mirrored. Okay. And I want to remove it. And did you just see that? It just, because we have this mask right now applied to this shape key, it instantly just removed that. So now should be just eyes. Okay. So we're going to call this, eyes wide. Now, okay. Now we don't want both of them to be wide. I think we also would like to have... Do we want to move the eyebrows? I think the eyebrows moving up would be useful in this. Obviously in this mask case, if I want to add more to this, I can actually do a blend from shape. I can do surprised. Look up that one we were mixing to. And we'll add, or remove the add. Add adds to, if these are already moving, it will move that. Okay. So we just added the eyebrows to move with that. Now let me look at this. Surprised. That looks right. Oh. I may want to actually move the stuff in the middle. So I'm going to add these to my eyes mask. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this out. And I guess we can make a eyes and brows mask just using both. So we just select eyes and brow. Create new one. Eye plus brow mask. Okay, and assign. So we just create another mask. So we're going to cancel that. And what we want to do is surprised. Eye and brow mask. And we're going to go boop. And now we have a new mask. And we're going to create a new, can't do it in edit mode, so we have to get out of edit mode. Oops. And we're going to do that. Go delete. Eyes wide. Okay. So we have eyes wide. But now we want to separate it out. So we want to have left and right eye widen. So what we're going to do is we're going to do head, left, smooth. So now we have a left mask. And we can do eye, left, wide. And then we can do this on the other side. Head, right, smooth. Now we have eye, right, wide. Now I have most of these memorized, but what I'm using, it's this, so just double check. Should be eye, left, wide, eye, right, wide. Okay. Now, so we got eyes wide. I can't close that, so we should have this. Go wide, wide. Now, what I want to do is we're going to start creating ones that don't exist. So ones that we don't exist yet is eyes squeeze. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to set to the value of 1. Go to elastic deform. Go to edit mode. And I want to mask out the eyes. So eyes masks. And do I want to do the eyebrows? Or do I think, let's do the eyes and together. We're going to select them, hide. So it's going to look a little funny. Oh, I did not notice this. Okay. This may be a note. I think I need a note. Okay. So, we have blush. This is a side point. If I'm going to be moving the face around, I may want to add this to the upper lip mask and the eye and brow mask. So let me add these to those so we can actually, I'm going to assign that. And I want to assign that to the upper lip mask smooth and the upper lip because I did not add those. Okay, so we're going to H, hide. Okay. Now, I'm going to, in sculpt mode, and do a fill mask. Everything's going to go a little bit dark because we were all masking this out. And then Alt-H to bring things back. Alt-A to get things back. And now you have a mask using our vertex groups. So, a eye squeeze is a combination of the blink going a little bit farther than blink. So you're going farther than the normal blink. You're actually squeezing your eye after you blink. So it's an additive function of it. So in this states, eye right blink is a value of 100 and eye left blink is 100. So it's going to be on top of the blink. So what we're going to do is we're going to have eye left blink and eye right blink. And we're going to turn it into X mode, have it mirrored. I'm going to select eye squeeze. I'm going to F. And we're going to drag this stuff down. And we're going to drag this up a little bit because you're squeezing it together. It's not just straight down. So what we're going to do is in elastic deform, I'm using tri-scale grab and volume preservation. So this allows it to be a little bit more flexible, not very aggressive, and we can move things to make that work. So we want to not deform it too much. And in this mode, I am doing it in with the textures so we can know that we're not messing up the UVs too much and not messing up the textures. So we're going to scale this down a little bit. And we can squeeze the outside eye and push it up a little bit. So when you squeeze it, I want to just move that back a little bit. So we will go is we have a squeezed eyes. As a squeeze. And I want to make sure that everything looks all right with this. A squeeze. Okay, that's our squeeze. So we're done with squeeze. Now we need to separate out the squeeze. Now this is without the eye closing, so it looks a little weird, but without the eye closing. But it will only happen when the eyes close. So what we'll do is we need to separate this out. So we have left eye, left. And now this is a weird thing. So the squeeze actually came out in SRanipal version 2. And that, for some odd reason, had a lowercase. Either they were lazy or something. It was lowercase. So this is actually from the manual. So it's actually the one that's actually lowercase versus everything else that's uppercase for each of the words. So obviously that's slightly annoying, but we just make do with what we currently have on it. We're not trying to change what SRanipal had on that. So now we're going to do the right. So we have eye, right, squeeze. Okay. So when you do right squeeze and right blink, it should be just a squeeze on the right side. Okay. And we want to clear the vertex groups because it does break on the import into Unity. You won't have a slider for some odd reason in Unity, so just need to remember to X out these when you're mixing them. So we have blink, wide, and squeeze. Now the other functions are how the eye moves when you look around. So you have right, left, up, down, and that's for left and right together. So in order to do that, you're going to have to go into pose mode. What we're going to do is select the bones, go into pose mode, and I'm going to select both of these. We're going to do RX and with them both selected, and we're going to roll up a little bit, and we'll just see how this works. It looks like it's not 100% parented to the eyes because it's not moving one-to-one to these eyes. So if I actually look in, I think if I look in weight paint mode, oops, it would help if I go select. Okay, when you go into weight paint mode, you want to actually see what each bone is weighted to. You select that and then shift click and then weight paint and control. Okay, because these are both weighted to 1, so it's like sort of like half of it's on this, half it's on the other eye. So, okay. So that will have, that will work just fine. So what we'll do is select these, R, and let's select, oh, how far do we want to rotate up? Now these are not moving as well as I would like it to. Not very good for eye tracking. Let's see. How would I make this better on eye tracking? I think I need to get rid of these bones. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these bones. Now this is, obviously, it's just how the bone actually moves the eye. It's not needed, but what we're going to do is we're going to see that's I.R and I.L. Okay. So do I want to delete these bones? Let's say no. Let's not delete the bones because it would be harder to add back. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to body and we're going to get out of object mode and we're going to go to I.L, and what we're going to do is delete this vertex groups. These vertex groups are what's actually controlling the weighting of it to the bones. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go back into pose mode, RX, and now it's a 1-to-1. Okay. Now the only problem is it's clipping through that way. Interesting. Okay. Now the pivot point is down here. Well, a normal eye pivot point would be up here. So let's move the pivot point. So I'm going to go edit. I'm going to select both. Let's just do X mode. And G, Y, Z. Actually, let's go into local mode. G, Y, Z. And we're going to try to move it. I think I want it right there on that pivot, where the existing pivot is, because we want these bones to be straight up to the world axis, and that will make our lives a little bit easier. And I'm gonna move it on the inside a little bit, and now we could make this exact to what actual that point is, but this is probably the quicker way of doing it. And we'll basically go pose mode. Okay, now that's what I'm looking for. So we have this nice rotation point for the eyes. So we're going to reset that, and we want to set the upper limit, make it 25, make it a whole number, so he's looking up. So we're going to go into sculpt mode. It'll be still in pose mode in here. And what we're going to do is go into sculpt mode. We are going to sculpt him looking up. So eyes, oops, I have caps on. Eyes up, and we are going to create an eyes up shape. So he's going to look up. Oh, now we can't go too far because this is not really connected. Interesting. Okay, so we may need to move this back of this eye white. So that's eye up, so he's looking up. And we can squeeze that and maybe move up the cheeks a little bit. So he's looking up. You can make it like cute. Like that. Okay. So eye up. Okay. And what we could do is have a corrective shape to make these eye wells deeper. Let's make these eye wells deeper. So we're going to do eye deeper. And this is just going to be a corrective shape. And what we're going to do is I'm going to change that to 1, change the X. And I don't know where the center is. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to pull this out. You know what? Let's just select everything and just -1. Oops. Can we select less, please? Interesting. Okay. It's not allowing me to step out, so okay, we're just going to manually select it. Okay. Control-Shift-M. Select that. And we want to make a new... do I need to... I'm going to create a new layer. Eyes white. I'm just going to call eyes white mask. Yeah, what we're going to do is assign it. We're going to clear this mask, and go to edit mode, hide, fill mask. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make these deeper. We don't want to go too crazy. Let's see. And from this to that. So it just gives it a little bit more room back there. I think we can make it a little bit deeper. Obviously, you have to be careful with this. Okay. Now we have a deeper well. Okay. Now that's if you have issues with that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a clear mask again. Alt-A. It's a good habit to do Alt-A because you may have some other things selected that you don't see. Eye mask. Hide. Fill. Control. Alt-H. Now we got eyes up. And we want to separate eyes up. So we go eyes up. Eyes up. And that will fix the issue. But we don't want to have the eyes deeper when we're doing these other animations. So we want to just clear everything. So we eyes up. Head left smooth. And we're going to create a new shape. Eye left up. Head right. And eye left up. Okay. So we got the eye up. Now we want to clear the mask. Now, go back into pose mode. Go back to pose mode, select all. And we are going to go RX. And we'll do the opposite, 25 degrees. So we're looking down. Sculpt mode. Sculpt mode. Eyes down. And with this, we'll do eyes down. So we want to look down. Have to change the size. And see if the deeper walls actually fixes that issue. And not really, but we'll see. Let's just make sure we're not going too far down. So we go from this to this. I think that looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear that. Do head left smooth. And we're going to create the eye left down. And eye down. Okay. So we have this and this. Okay. Now, next ones is left and right. So I go pose mode, select all, reset. Now we don't want X to be on, so we want to rotate on the local axis RY. And I want to look, let's say, it looks like it's 25 degrees is what we're looking at on the angles. So we're going to do RY, and that's going to be 25. Okay, so we got a 25 degree angle. I'm going to go out of pose mode, go into select the mesh, and then go into, oops, sculpt mode. Now, we do not want X on for looking right, left. So eyes left. And I'm going to sculpt this. And we're going to go. So what we're doing is the eye's moving a little bit. So we're having this shape. So he's looking to the left. And I think, let's see how the deeper looks. Okay, the deeper did fix that a little bit. So I think we're good on that. And so we have looking left. So that's from, it was like this, now it's like this. So he actually, it looks like he's looking. What we're going to do next, just going to clear everything. And we're going to do head left, and we're going to do eye left, left. Okay. We're going to have HUD right is, oops, is going to be this one, which is on the right. We're going to create a new one. It's going to be eye right, left. So clear that. So we have right and left. Now, I believe there was something on the eyes that wasn't able to mirror. So you can actually mirror this because we didn't mirror it because it's not asymmetrical on how the shape is. We can copy this, but we're gonna just do an example. Oops. We're gonna copy this. So this is a copy of it. If I mirror this, you see the eyebrows are broken. So I can't mirror that. So that's not gonna work. So we're gonna have to manually do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to create a new shape. Eyes, right. And we're gonna have to eyeball it on the opposite direction. So we need to do pose mode. Select everything, reset. RY -25 and -25. Okay. Go back into sculpt mode. And we're going to try to recreate the eye right. So we're going to scoot this a little bit. I want to go down a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. Scoot this to the right a little bit. Scoot down. And scoot down. Because the eye is not perfectly round. It's sort of like it's not perfectly round. So it's going to, the long part is at the front of the eye. So it's going to move around. It's going to pull towards the actual eye. So we're going to have a little bit of a movement right there. So we're going to go like that. And versus this. So we have a little bit of a shape shift. And I think that looks good. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do this again. Head, left, smooth. So eye, left, right, and eye, left. Right. Right. Okay. So clear that out, So we should have right and right. Okay. Now the last thing I need to do is eye left dilation and the eye dilation and constrict. So we're going to reset the movement on the bones. We're done with those. Okay, reset. Sculpt mode. Okay. Now let's look at the eyes. Okay. Now the center point on this is actually in the center, which is sort of critical for dilation and constriction of the pupils. So what we're going to do is we're going to have eyes constrict and eyes dilation. So we're going to do this in edit mode. This is not something you do in the sculpt mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to do ring selects. So I want to ring select things. Except for that went the wrong direction. That's not what I want. So we're going to do control, 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 control. Now, I believe I want to go to edge select mode. Okay, that's way better. Okay. Go to edge select mode. And I want to have it mirrored. And I want to do a edge slide. So if I pull this out, it slides out. Slides out. Okay. So we're going to go, well, that's about yay. -1. Oh, it's the wrong way. Oops. So we want to constrict. Constrict. And we'll have -0.5. So if we turn on this in edit mode, we should be able to see it. So we have a little bit of constrict. And obviously this texture is not very helpful for actually doing dilation. Let me try this again. Let's reset these from basis. Just reset it. Okay. Let's just do a -1. -1. And then we have a +1. Oh boy, I didn't do it on both sides because it's unmirrored. Shoot. Okay. Oh, it did. Never mind. Okay, so we have that dilation, constrict. Obviously, this probably could be messed with a little bit more. I guess we could. I think we could do these a little bit more. It's stretching it too much. Let's do 0.5. 0.5. I think. Oops. So let's mirror, but we don't want to extend it, so we want to do this. Oh, interesting. How did that happen? Very interesting. So I didn't like that. Huh. It does not mirror that. Okay, let's just do it manually. 0.5. Turn off mirror. And I am not zoomed in enough. Period. There we go. Oh, oops. One more out. And 8.5. Okay, so we should have. That's our dilation, constriction. And then there's our dilation. And let's do the same thing where we have this, 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 and this. We'll go a little bit farther out. And let's do 0.5. 0.5. Yeah. I don't know if I like that. You know what, I'll just get rid of it. Okay. There's our dilation and our constriction. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out here, constrict, head left. This is not required, but it's nice to keep them. If you want to have them separated, you can. Left dilation. Oops, that was constrict I did. right. And clear. Left. And that could be either smooth or not. It doesn't matter. Right. Left. Dilation. Right. Head. Smooth mask. Eye. Right. Dilation. Okay. And that is the eye tracking. And that's with everything you need for eye tracking. So, you know, for blink and all our movements. Okay. Those are good. Now, face tracking. Actually, technically it's lip tracking. Face tracking in itself is everything with eye tracking. Lip tracking. And lip tracking is a little bit more involved. And what we want is, let's say we have our, oops, wrong thing. Ah is a very good shape. It's usually mouth open. So we have our mouth open with ah. Now, that doesn't go very wide. Now, I did see that we do have a mouth bone here. If we go into pose mode, it should have like a mouth shape. Cool. Okay. Now, we don't want it too aggressive. Let's reset it. Let's RX. Let's say about, 23 degrees maybe. Does that look good? I think that would look good. So one of the cool things with bones, if you have a bone face rig, is you can actually do a pose library. Now, a pose library is in the object data properties. And what you do is you hit a new, you have your object selected, and you have a new pose library. And we want to add to pose library. So it's whatever you have selected adds to a pose. So now I have jaw open. Now, so if I reset it, and I click this, I have a jaw open. So whatever the pose is for the bone. So other shapes I have to do, we go back to here, that are using the jaw, is we have a jaw right, jaw left, and jaw forward, and jaw open. So what we're going to do is we're going to reset this. And these make it really nice because you just tweak it. And now we don't want to go too far with the jaw left and right. Let's do -7. Let's do -6. -6 looks good. So that'll be our jaw left. So add new. We're going to call that jaw left. And now we can do a copy and mirror. So Control C and Control Shift B. And now it's mirrored. And nice thing about with bones is they're very not as picky as mesh, because if mesh gets messed up, it can become non-symmetrical really quickly. And it's very common for these to be not symmetrical. But with bones, it doesn't really care. So we have jaw left. And now we want to reset. I want to do a jaw forward. So we have a jaw forward animation. And we'll just make it my actual hard coded number. Do a jaw forward. Okay, we got jaw forward. And we are going to do is we're going to clear transforms. That's another way you can go, is you can hit clear transforms here. And what I have been doing with hotkeys is you can clear rotation by Alt-G, Alt-R, or Alt-S. So, now you have these poses. Now, the way you can do it is I want to create a jaw open. So we have this shape. I want to create that shape into a shape key. Now, in order to do that, I need to enable a function in Blender. So currently by default it's lock object modes. And what this means is when you click the armature, it switches to pose mode. If you click the body, it'll switch to like actual edit mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to deselect this. Now this is not always recommended to have that on, but it's nice to work with. So we want to have in pose mode with that. So we have our poses. Then we want to go to object mode. This is our object mode for the actual mesh. And we're going to go to this wrench icon, this modifier. This is what's linking your mesh data with the vertex groups to the bones. So what you want to do, and this is how you connect your mesh to the bones. So if you have anything different, separate, that you want to link into it, you can add that here. But this also can create shape keys. So I want to rename this modifier to jaw open. And in the thing is save as shape key. So now if we go to our shape keys, we should have a jaw open shape key that's from this bones. Now I want to do left. So we have left. And what we'll do is we'll go back to this. We'll do jaw left. And we're going to save as shape key. Go back to pose. Go back to our pose library. Go to the right. Go back to the wrench. Draw right. Save as shape key. Go to pose. Draw forward. Go back to body. And we'll call this jaw forward. And then we're going to save as shape key. And now we're done with those shapes with that bone because we had a bone there. So I'm going to do Alt-G, the revert the transform. That was not a rotation, that was a transform. So I can just change this back to armature. Armature would be helpful. And now if I go back to sculpt mode, I will have these new shapes. So if I go in edit mode, we have jaw open, jaw left, jaw right, and jaw forward. So we got those shapes. Okay. Now jaw mouth ape shape is a combination of jaw open but with the lips closed. So in order to do that, I want to do a jaw open mix, and it's not going to be all the way down because that's going to be pretty aggressive on the ape shape. So we're going to do about I usually do about 60% of the mouth open. And I'm just going to duplicate this. We have mouth ape shape. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into ape shape. Now we want to create our masks. And I want to get back to Vertex mode. And we'll do the lower lip mask. Let's do the upper lip mask first. Because it gets a little tricky when you have two lips and you're doing both top and bottom at the same time. So we'll just do one of them at a time. So we'll do fill mask, edit mode, Alt H, and then we got that. Now we want to turn back on the mirror. And we'll scale this down a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to recreate this shape, ape shape. Basically what you do is you have your mouth open like so, and like a little bit like that. Okay, so that's we have the upper portion for the ape shape. Now let's do the lower portion. We're going to clear the masks. Alt A. Lower lip mask. Fill mask. Alt H. Now we have the lower. So we're going to go up. And now we have a little bit of our gum sticking out. So we're going to pull this out a little bit. Pull this up. And now we're dragging a little bit too much on this corner, so it's making it a little sharp. Let's fix that. And we're going to go up. Now we're getting into a little bit of issues right here, so we're going to try to get in very detailed. So we're going to scoot this up a little bit. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but we're trying to just get it where we want it. I can't see. Okay, now when you have this clipping, sometimes this is fixed by the clip start distance. I'm going to cut this in half to there. So I'm going to change the clip mask, and I'm just going to move this gum out a little bit. And a little bit of artwork on how to make this look good. And there's some things you probably could get away with. You don't need to be super detailed but let's do that. Now that's our ape shape. That's our ape shape. That looks actually pretty good. So that's our ape shape. Now our next shape, what we're going to do is we're going to create a mouth left and right movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear the mask, do upper lip and lower lip, hide that, fill. Okay, I have mouth left. So we're going to do you're moving your mouth left. Should be when the mouth opens. Keep moving the mouth around a little bit. Okay. So mouth left. Duplicate to mouth right, and hopefully this should be mirrored. So do this. Mirror it. Looks like it worked. Okay, that worked. Now what we're going to do is we're going to split the top and bottom separate. So I'm going to do upper lip smooth mask. Oops. I think that maybe masked out too much. Lower lip. Or actually, let's do upper lip smooth mask. Okay, it smoothed it a little bit. Okay, I guess that's okay. That's fine. So it's going to be mouth, upper left, and lower. Okay. And mouth, lower left. Clear that. Oops, I canceled it out. Okay, and what we're going to do is upper lip mask smooth. Upper right. And lower lip smooth. Mouth, lower right. So what that's going to do is we're going to overlay the bottom lip of the top lip. It's going to sort of be like almost like a pug, like pouty look to it. And now we don't want to mess up the shape of the mouth too much with that. So there's our pout. Mouth overlay. I think that looks good. It's mouth lower overlay. Lower inside, and you can see a lot of these shapes from the SRanipal SDK or from the face tracking wiki page. So we want to mouth lower inside. This is going to be like you're biting your bottom lip. So we want to put this in like so. So there's our teeth. Okay, so that's our point where we want to grab. Okay, now the problem is these gums are really big. So this is going to be a little tricky. So we're going to try to get this. Yeah, we can't go too far. Otherwise, we're going to clip in the gums. So, yeah. Okay, so that's as good as we're going to get. So it's you biting the bottom lip. Biting the bottom lip. We'll scale this down. I think this looks good. So we have our inside. Okay. Now, let's do another one that's on the lower lip. So let's do mouth, lower, down. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to scoot your teeth down. His muzzle's making it a little difficult to actually see the teeth. So, What we're going to do is we're going to open the mouth a little bit so we can actually see things. Because we don't want to take it too far down, otherwise it's going to look a little weird. So we want to grab this out. Okay. Grab. And we make sure that we're on this layer, not the jaw open. So we have this lower lip down. And we'll just pull this down just a hair more. Just make it a little bit rounded. And we can pull it out a little bit. So when we do this, don't really care for that. So we have this lower lip thing. So you're showing your bottom teeth. Next step, we're going to just clear this mask. And we're going to do the upper lip. And we're going to go back to fill mask. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do mouth upper up. And what we're going to do is we're going to... Now with mouth upper up, it's a very common type of movement. So we want to make this one really good. And one of the things you want to do is you actually sort of want to pull this back a little bit. The mouth. It's like you're showing your upper teeth. So we're going to pull this up. Now, I need to be careful with this. Now you got to mess with this muzzle a little bit. Now, here is an issue I'm seeing with this right now. If you can notice, you can't see the teeth when you move the lips up. Because it's all being hidden down here. So we have up. Interesting. And down. Okay. I need to be able to move this. So what we're going to do is I need to get that unmasked. So this right here, I don't want to be masked. So we're going to go here. Oh god, there's so much stuff here. Okay. And we'll do another one. Couple polys out. I think that'll work. What I'll do is grab that. And we're gonna mirror this and extend. And we're gonna make this a upper hide. So now we have this new mask. I can actually move this. So I want to move this up. Uh-oh. So okay. Let's see. Well, I can't see things. Let's turn it to material. Get rid of this. Okay. Oh, I gotta be careful with this. So we're gonna drag that out and reduce. Okay. Now that one point I don't have in my mask, so I'm just gonna do it manually. I'm just gonna paint it out. And we're gonna go back here. And we're gonna pull that around. And we're gonna scoot that around. And there we go. So now we have this. Shape. And let's switch back to texture so we can actually see. Don't mess up the gums too much. Keep that pretty close. So you don't want to mess up the UVs too much on those. So we have this. We want to keep it pretty flat because this is not a smile, but it's good to have a natural smile when you show your teeth. This will be helpful to. It just looks nicer. Okay, and we have a point right there that's not still masked. So we'll just leave that alone. Okay, and we can test this. So we got this mouth upper up. And then we have lower down. So we have this. Now I think we probably should move that up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this subtractive. And it's mirrored. So it should be mirroring to the other side. I can't see. We're going to just a little bit of masking paint. And we're going to just go up here. And we're going to just scoot that up a little bit. And I'm going to scoot this up a little bit. Okay. So we have this. Up. Okay. There we go. So we got mouth upper up. What else do I need to do? We have mouth upper inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to do mouth upper inside. So grab that. And this is be you biting your upper lip. Now this is a little bit tricky because you can't actually see the teeth. We'll just drag it down a little bit. So we got that. Got that. Okay. So let's separate the ups and downs. So we want to separate the left and right. So we'll do is we'll go full down. We'll use our smooth mask, left smooth mask. Mouth or down left. And mouth lower down right. Out. So if you do these both together, it should look the same. And it does, because we have it exactly mirrored on that mask. Is a perfect split between these. Now this is not perfect. Probably could have a little bit better transition here. Adding another stage, because that would be, see, that's half 75 full. So maybe having an 80 there would all make it a little bit better. But we'll leave it there for now. So mouth upper up. And we'll do is we'll do a head left smooth. So we have the right side, left side. Mouth lower. Oops, it's actually upper, up, left, and it needs to be together. And head right, mouth, upper, up, right. So both of them together should be the same. So we got right, and then left, and then we got right. Okay, those are split. I'm going to move that up with the up so we can keep it together. Okay. Now I'm going to do mouth, pout. So what we're going to just do is create the upper pout shape. And we want to Not go too much. So try and shape it. We're just doing the first shape. And we're going to scoot this just down a little bit. So, sort of like a kissing lip a little bit. Like that. Want to clear the mask. Unselect everything. Lower lip mask. Hide. Fill. Hide. Go back to Pout. So like this. So this like kissing face. Scoot back a little bit. So this goes how. And there's a Pout. And I think we can basically, that's our Pout. And we can make this a little bit different. Let's scoot that up. And call that good. You can tweak it a little bit. Pout. Okay. Now, another one we can do is mouth O shape. Now this is going to be both, and this is not going to be a shape that you actually control in game per se. You can use it, but my template does not use it. It's used to help create the upper overturn and the lower overturn. To do this, what we're going to do is we're going to have upper up left, upper up right, lower down left, and lower down right. Okay. Now this shape is used to make an O shape. So it's like when you're saying O, I want Visemes. So what we're going to do is we're going to hide that. Fill and hide. So we have our whole face. And what we're going to do is on O shape, set this to 1. We're going to drag this stuff out. So we're creating an O. It's going to look a little sloppy, but we'll clean it up a little bit later. We're going to go O. Have that go like O shape. And we're going to clean this up. And, ooh, it is popping out quite a bit. Now, when you're doing all these movements, they can break things pretty quickly. So, what we're going to do is in. Now I think we messed up this corner right here. We'll just scoot it in. Make it a little bit more smoother on these. Now what I'm looking for is trying to keep it somewhat uniform on the shape I'm trying to look for. And you want like your curve like that. So we have O. O. Now the thing you have to be careful with O shape and any other face tracking shapes, they can stack and they can do some weird things if you have weird stacking on them. So we'll just try to be careful, not going too extreme. Now, because I think Pout sometimes triggers. So you'll have sometimes have Pout trigger when you do O shape. So we don't want that too aggressive. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that and pull this O shape in. And we're going to grab that. Okay. Okay, so we do Pout. And you see, we have a little bit of weird shape, but we can mess with it and see if how we can make this work a little bit better with Pout. And when we turn off Pout, that's not bad. I don't know how I care about this corner here. And this is a little tedious. And now the problem is I'm too close to this upper lip to really make adjustments properly. So I'm gonna probably have to mask it so I can do some tweaks on that. Because it's modifying the upper lip. But I can just zoom in a little bit and just... I think that looks pretty good. So that's our O shape. O. O. Okay. And I like that. I don't like this. Oh, I don't think that's... Is that the mask? Ah, my mask, my smooth masks have an issue there. Interesting, okay. Okay, we have this. Okay, so with these masks, I may have to do some tweaking here. Now, I have to make sure I don't have mirror on. Because I want to just modify this a little bit. Just a little bit. So what I'm trying to do is when we have this just right one, it pulls it down just like that. And then on the left one, that looks good. Oops, that's on the wrong side. That looks good. Okay. I'm happy with that. And O shape. Oops. See, I think this is not supposed to be coming out like this, so we'll scoot this in a little bit. Just need to really check the shapes of how this is, because we did move it quite a bit here. So we'll just try to make sure that we keep it from not looking too jank. Let's see, there we go. I'm happy with that. So we're going to clear it. O shape by itself is going to look weird. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a upper lip smooth. That's going to look a little funky. Yeah, it's going to be funky. So we're going to have new shape. This is going to be mouth upper overturn. And then we're going to have a lower lip smooth. This should be just the lower smooth of the O shape. Mouth, lower, overturn. Turn. Okay. So now these together should be the same. Okay. And if I do lower, down, up, lower, up, down, and right. And yes, that is correct. It does make the same thing. Good. Okay. So we're going to do smile. Mouth. Smile. And I think there may be a shape key that already has smile. And that's actually a pretty good shape key. I like that. Let's use that one because that should work with upper up and upper right. And I think that actually that looks great. I like that. So we'll use that. I think that's a good shape. We'll reuse that shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to recreate this shape. So what we're going to do is go, okay, let's see. Smile, head left. We're going to do smile left. Mouth, smile, left. And then we're going to do head, smile right. Right. And then, so we got the smile. What we're going to do is we're going to make a custom mouth sad. And mirror. And I'm just going to drag it down like that. And we're going to drag that a little bit down. So we need to test lower down. And we're going to just modify this just a hair so we can okay. I'm going to open up the mouth a little bit so we can actually see it. And I want to pull that in a little bit. Pull that in. So I'm going to close the mouth. So pull it in just a hair. Okay. So now we have a sad face. And we can do the eyebrows separate. So clear it. Head left smooth. Sad. Left. Mouth. Sad. Right. Get rid of the mask. So we got those. Now the pouty almost looks like puffing cheeks. It is puffing cheeks. Interesting. Okay. Okay. I think I can work with that. So we'll make that cheek puff. So let's do this. Oh, the ears move. I don't know if I want it to do that. Let's just copy it for now. Let's do that. And what we'll do is we'll clear anything that's not on the face. So we'll do cheek puff, and what we're going to do is we're going to select anything that is not the cheeks, and then we're going to revert them back to basis. So this should be just the cheeks. Now it's just the cheeks. Now I want to separate them to left and right. So got cheek puff left. So cheek puff left. And then cheek puff right. So we got cheek puff right, left, and right. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have cheek suck. This one we're going to do is we're going to shape this one. Pull this forward. And we're going to pull this in. And pull this out. I'm going to pull in the cheeks a little bit. So we have our cheek suck. There's our cheek suck. Okay. Okay. We want our tongue. Looking here, that's selected. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to hide it. Fill select. Alt H. Now I'm going to open up the mouth a little bit so we can actually see the tongue. Okay, so that's light. Now what we're going to do is call tongue long step 1. Now tongue long step 1 just goes to the teeth. Now I do have the jaw open just a hair, but we just need to make sure we don't edit on the jaw. So I'm gonna have it open just a little bit so we can actually work with it. Now, and that can happen where you can actually accidentally edit that. Just make sure you have a long enough undo history. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the tongue, and we want to grab it somewhere and big enough that we don't distort it too much. So we're going to grab it there. So this is tongue step 1. Tongue step 1 is going to be to your teeth and a little bit up. So it's making that upward motion. So we're going like this. I'm going to stretch the back a little bit. So we're going to stretch it back. So we'll go like that. Okay, that's tongue step 1. And then tongue step 2 is fully out. Tongue long step 2. And that's additive to it. So this is 1 and this is 1. So what I do on tongue step 2 adds to tongue step 1. So I go out. And this is just straight out. And I just need to make sure I don't. So we stretch it out. I want to stretch it a little bit like that. So we got a tongue. And we can widen it a little bit. So we have a nice tongue shape. Now if I close the jaw, should be about there. And when you do stick out your tongue, your mouth is going to be slightly open anyways. So it'll be about right here. So if you point 2, it should be like that. So we're going to go back to 0.5 so I can work with it. And that's our tongue long step 1, 2, and 2. So now tongue up and tongue down are going to be this same thing. They're going to be on top of the long steps. So it's going to be tongue up. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab this tongue, pull it up without distorting it too much. This is a little tricky, but there's probably maybe a better way of doing this, but this is how I have done it. So you pull it up like that, and we're going to pull it out. And then you can just do some of the shaping just to pull this in like so. So this is, and we can make it a little bit more curved. And we got a tongue up. So we got tongue up. And I would say it needs to be a little bit longer. There, up. A little bit longer. So it should, theoretically, it should be about the same length when it goes up. So, and that looks about right. Just gonna change the shape a little bit. We got tongue up. Now let's do tongue down. And tongue down will be like so, and we'll just maybe grab it a little bit bigger. And we're going to pull it down like so. And we're going to shape this up a little bit. And pull this out. And a bit like that. Just like that. And I'll pull it like that. Okay. So I'll just pull this out and you just do some shaping. Tongue. So we have a tongue down. Okay. Got tongue down. Sweet. That's our tongue down. Now let's do tongue left. And I believe the tongue, we didn't have any issues with mirroring. So this is going to be great because if you don't have mirroring of the tongue, it will sort of be a pain in the butt to match with the left side with the right side. So having it mirrored helps a lot. So we're going to do this. And now with the tongue, like a muscle, it's going to stretch on one side and it should be like this pulls forward, this pulls back, and the UVs should be more of like this. We want it to be like an arc. So we want to arc it like how your tongue is turning. And now this can be a little tricky, so we just need to tweak it around. And the shape can get messed up a little bit. You just have to massage it to where you want it. And let's get the tongue about yay. And pull that over. Okay. So now looks about right, except for this probably needs to be pulled a little bit forward. So is that. Now with the tongue left, we need to see if it's about the same length. Now that's the problem. Like we have it not quite the same length. So we can pull it there. Pull it out just a hair more. So you want to be like an arc over. Something that would look decent. So go like that. And this sort of want a little bit better UVs. So I'm going to pull these a little bit forward and this a little back. Make it look nice. Pull this back. And warping. Let's fix that. Pull that up. That shape looks good. Pull this around a little bit. Try this one. Just massage it back and forth. Sometimes massaging it back and forth will help you get to where you want it to be. And tweak that down a little bit. Tweak it there. And let's bring that about yay here. So there's our, looks like about a left. So we got left. Perfect. Now I want to mirror this, but I don't want to copy the other things. So I'm going to do that. Duplicate. Tongue right. And we're going to stick this back out. Tongue. And we're going to open the mouth a little bit. 2.5. And now that's the duplicated right one. And you select it. And mirror shape key. Except for I didn't select the left one. I select the left one. I didn't want the right one. There we go. And that mirrored. So when you do this, go mirror, mirror. Okay. Now that shape is not the best. That'll work. Let's say I just noticed that I don't like this shape a little bit. So I'm going to move this up just a hair. Select that. Pull this out. And it'll maybe take some tweaking. You'll see something like, oh, I don't like that. So I made this one. Now I like the tongue right more than the tongue left. So if I go to the tongue left, I can do this. And I can do a vertex blend from shape. Tongue right, and that will override anything on tongue left, and I just mirrored again. I got tongue left, like so. Now there's some combination of these. So when you do tongue left and tongue up, you're going to get this weird shape. And a way to fix this shape is called a tongue up left morph. And this is going to be a shape key that's not in itself used as by itself. I guess that's sort of redundant, but it is a way to correct the shape of this shape key. Now I want to drag and fix this shape to look like a tongue again, not be warped around. Drag that way, drag that way. And it can be a little tricky because it sometimes squishes the mesh, so I'm going to try to drag it out. And these, take a little tweaking. So what this does, it like corrects the shape. And you just work at it and try to get to a shape that's somewhat resembles a tongue going up to the left. Try to correct that. I want to drag this a little bit like that. Like a muscle. Should be going to an arc. Now, thinking I'm having some issues with this being too... Okay. Now that's grabbing on the other side, and I don't really want it to do that. So I need to figure out how I want to pull this. Either I have to reduce the size, or I need to change how the brush works on this. Yeah, we'll just massage it. Just go back and forth, dragging it out. Go up. Okay. And let's make this more into an arc instead of a so. And we got a tongue left up. And this shape will correct that when you do a combo like that. I'm going to drag that a little bit more. And because the tongue can mirror, it can be tongue upright and morph also. Okay. And I'm just nitpicky, but this is just a little tweaking into what I want to look like. Okay. So we got tongue. Tongue left up. Now we're going to do the same thing. So it brings it down a little bit, but that's okay. So instead of up, we want down. Now this one's not too bad. This one I don't have to correct as much. So we go tongue, down, left, morph. We're going to do this one, and we'll just need to fix this shape of just a hair. Oh, this one's not bad at all. This is a pretty easy one. Okay. Oh, that didn't have very much at all to do. I guess. Can drag this down a little bit. Okay. Okay. Easy. Okay. That one was an easy one. So we're going to just duplicate it. Tongue. Up. Right. Morph. And we'll just mirror that. Then tongue down. Right. Oops, there's an eye there. Right. Morph. Do that. And then mirror that. So in order to test it, we'll do down, right, long step, long step. Okay. And if we want up, do up instead of down. And now, because I did this when the mouth was open, so if we change it to that, that will be about there. So about 2. Now I could make the morph work with the mouth a little bit more. You may have some clipping with the tongue, and that's pretty normal. Now, what we're going to do is face tracking is a little tricky because it's not the fastest updating. It will get you like the general shapes, but it's to actually lip track what you're saying in real time. It's a good practice to actually have it in combo with Visemes. So one of the things you can do is I have a script that is a face tracking Viseme mapper. By default, everything's at 0.5, but what I will look at is the current Visemes on the avatar. So if I go into Visemes, so with I don't want, the problem with face tracking and Visemes together, it can overdrive your face, making your mouth really wide. So one of the things you do with this remapper is I can make it at 50% of the value. So this is just 50% for and this will allow it to be more reduced, but still have a little bit of a Viseme, but like just more subdued version of the Visemes. So now P doesn't usually do much. So P mouth doesn't move, and we can keep that at 100 at 1. So map it to P. F moves the mouth not too much, so that shouldn't be a problem. So I think we can do the full mount. So do F, then TH. It's a little bit bigger, but we don't, I think we can do about 0.8 of TH, and I go to TH. No, D. Now that one makes it a little bit, I think we can do that at 80 also. 0.8. Do D. E. I can do 0.8 on E. So E. And when this will do is it will take this Viseme with the threshold and create a new Viseme that can be used in Unity. This will be the face tracked Viseme with the reduction. So IH, and the mouth goes a little bit wide on that on IH, so let's not use that one too much. Let's 0.7. O. Now you have to be careful with O. O and both of these O's are very aggressive and it can overdrive things. So let's keep those pretty low. And then in is pretty good. We can set that at 0.8. In. And silence, obviously silence doesn't do anything. It's just there to map it, just so you can actually see it. K is a little aggressive, so let's keep that at 0.5. CH, we can keep it at full CH at 1. And S we can do full. And R we can do full. Okay. And then once we get all the thresholds down and everything mapped, we just select the body. We want the body to be where we want the face tracking Visemes. Click this and boop. And now we should have all the face tracking Visemes down here. Go in edit mode. Here's our reduced set of Visemes. And this is a face tracked avatar. Now we have our eye deeper. We could make that a default, but I'm going to leave it there just so it just doesn't mess up the model too much. So people can have it as a default state.